like to welcome everyone to the regular City Council meeting Monday, October 20th, 2025. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. Okay, so to start off with, we need to talk about this fabulous Catawbafest that we had this weekend. If you would, please, Ms. Hasty.
Hello. Hi, guys. How are you all doing? Can I do this? That sounded a little creepy. So, thank you, everyone who came out on Saturday, October 11th, to celebrate our beautiful city at Catawbafest, which we merged with our final Music in the Park concert featuring the incredible Queen Nation. When we rescheduled the event, we were able to retain 97 of our 120 vendors, 19 of our 24 food vendors. The feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. Vendors reported being very pleased financially with the day and enjoying the show. They appreciate the kindness of our team on the ground, and I received praise about the cleanliness of the park and the fun atmosphere created by our staff. Vendors especially appreciated having the opportunity to participate in a rescheduled event rather than facing a cancellation. Guests reported wishing it was a little less windy, but they enjoyed wearing their sweaters for the first time this season and loved the performance by Queen Nation. Queen Nation, who has been traveling the world for 22 years, complimented us on our hospitality, the beautiful park, and the kindness extended to them. They said we made them feel at home, especially by sharing a meal with our staff. Their accommodation was graciously provided by Visit York County. After their gig last weekend in Nashville, they are now back home in Los Angeles and enjoying a short break. A couple of fun numbers. Beer sales were reported from 2 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. was reported at $6,000. The Indian cuisine, that's till 6 o'clock, and the festival ended at 9. The Indian cuisine reported having one of their best nights since they opened their business in York. And our attendance is guesstimated, I haven't gotten the numbers official, guesstimated at 5,000. So it's not bad for, a rescheduled concert kind of thing. A huge thank you to our Public Works and Parks and Rec teams for seamlessly handling the logistics to our utilities finance departments for managing vendors in entertainment hospitality. Our amazing volunteers did an outstanding job managing the Catawba stage and eating competition that would include, thank you, Trish Schneider, Todd and Cynthia Striegel, and Gigi Hasty, and Mike Tollis, always wrangling our food vendors for us. Thank you, special thank you to Gold Hill Middle School Band Director Jennifer Eisenhower and her students for performing the national anthem while the TKK Veterans Association presented the colors. We couldn't have done it without Pucker Butt Pepper Company and Nothing Bundt Cakes for providing the eating competition and Founders Federal Credit Union for funding our Kids Zone, as well as our top-notch sponsors that include Rock Hill Coca-Cola, Piedmont Medical Center, and Dick's Sporting Goods. Macalusa Golf Carts, wow. Thank you. We began talking last fall, knew it would be a hit, so thank you for hosting the first Carts in the K Golf Cart Show. Kelly and Travis, you both have been an amazing partner in bringing it to Catawbafest. I believe we're already planning next year. So thank you to our City Council for your continued support to Catawbafest and Music in the Park, and it was really cool to see you join us and city staff for lunch. Special thank you to our Parks and Rec manager, Dustin, and Deputy Manager Joey. They never like appreciation, but you're going to get it, for championing this blended event and making sure our vendors could still showcase their talents while our community enjoyed a full day of engagement in our beautiful city. It would have been so much easier to just cancel Catawbafest and have the concert. But these two guys were like, we can do this. So we did it. Most importantly, thank you to our community and visitors for spending your Saturday with us and making it such a memorable day. I'm also grateful to our police and fire departments for keeping everyone safe and securing throughout the day. An additional bonus this year, if you were there, you would have seen, was that Chief Crosby invited Chief Hasty to join him in feeding the crew, volunteers, and even Queen Nation. It became a family affair, and everyone seemed to enjoy the atmosphere. I would like to take this quick moment opportunity to give 2 awards to our 2 chiefs. You know, at the Best Damn Food Festival, we have a #1 cook, right? Well, we have here for Chief Crosby, he's the #1 chef, and Glenn, his sidekick, is the best chief chef. Thank you both so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. You guys brought a lot of fun, and you brought community together, volunteers, sponsors, council, and even our band. That was super cool. Thank you. So, we're not done. Our next week is Spooktacular Week. Get ready, because we're going to have a gourd time, because Spooktacular Week is almost here. We'll kick things off with a beautiful movie in the park at Rundy Park on Saturday, October 25th. We're presented it in partnership with Howell Landscaping and Design. Thanks to Brian and Anastasia for being absolutely fantastic and finding our featured film, Hocus Pocus. They hosted a voting on their Facebook page, and that's how they came up with the movie choice. We're also inviting the community to show off your carving skills for Pumpkin Palooza. Bring your jack-o'-lanterns to our unbelievable pumpkin display across the City Hall at the City Hall TKK sign. The Glow Rendus Lit display will shine from October 27th to November 1st. Don't forget to register your pumpkin, because we'll be posting all the photos on Facebook, and I need to make sure I have everybody's name on there, okay? And to top it all off, we'll wrap up the month with our annual Booze and Ghouls event with the Lions Club and the Glennon Center parking lot. This is going to be a spectacular event. Kids are invited to wear their spookiest or silliest costumes for trunk-or-treating, a costume contest, and a ghoulish music. We're still looking for sponsors and tailgaters, so there's no cost to participate. So please join us. We need some prizes for our kiddos, and we even have adults. So Best Baby doesn't have to be a baby. It can be an adult dressed as a baby. So we're going to have a hauntingly good time, and I hope you guys will join us. Please look at our city website on the events page for all the fun and activities. And Catawbafest, we haven't set the date, but we will for next year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms.
again.
Hasty.
Thank you.
Great job.
And that will bring us to our city manager's report. Mr. Funderburk, if you would, please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. From Development Services, staff is meeting with developers this week to work through the concept plan for the Windhaven commercial development just behind the cemetery plot on the former McCall property. The Grove has installed all ponds, permanent and temporary, for phase 1, and should begin retaining wall work very soon. The comp plan open house was held on September 30th to get feedback from the public regarding the future land use map, and they had a great turnout for that. As a reminder, and we are in the home stretch of this, but with political signs, we ask that everyone refrain from placing those at city buildings and within street rights-of-way, which include the medians and roundabouts. And our development services team, if council will recall from my last report, CC&I has decided to part ways with us. RCI has gotten started with us. They're located near Spartanburg and serve many jurisdictions around the state, including the city of York and Chester County. They're doing a fantastic job with us, and we're very happy to be partnered with them now. Let's see. With the fire department, the department's been busy with calls for service, training, and community events. There's been a significant increase in calls related to fire alarms and carbon monoxide alarms. As the seasons change, they'd like to encourage everyone to have their units serviced and checked. Over the last 9 months, the department has worked with the York County and Charlotte-Mecklenburg Emergency Management York County Fire Services, Charlotte Fire, and Piedmont EMS to coordinate and participate in a full-scale active violence and incident training exercise. The exercise simulated treatment and transport of over 200 people in fire, bomb/hazard materials incident management. This exercise took over 4 days and took a tremendous amount of planning. I'd like to thank everyone for their partnership in that very fruitful exercise. The department also participated in National Registry Emergency Medical Training this past month in partnership with York Tech. I'd like to congratulate 2 members of our fire department, Jamie Johnson and Brian Earhard, as they become nationally registered EMTs, which is emergency medical techs. 6 firefighters are participating in courses at the Fire Academy, and this week they'll be headed to the annual live fire training. And the department participated in the Walk, Bike, and Roll to School Day, Spray Day, Fun Day at TK Elementary, the fire department's open house, National Night Out, and Fire and Emergency Management Planning ahead of Catawbafest. Those are great opportunities to interact with the community and children and the partners around us. So thank you to everyone who attended and contributed to the success of those. Parks Recreation. Rec sports are in the home stretch as regular games are wrapping up with end of season tournaments starting soon. Our Parks Rec maintenance staff has completed phase 1 of the Windward Medium project. Phase 2 will start up probably late February, early March, and get that knocked out. It really turned out amazing. Thank you to all the residents near Windward for their patience during this project. For those that haven't noticed, we've also completed the Rip Rap project at Windjammer, and we've got pictures up on our Parks Rec Facebook page for that. Public Works, our team there is continuing to prune the medians along TK Drive as they hang Christmas lights. We ask that everybody just drive cautiously and pay attention to the signs and the cones so that our crews can be safe out there while they're working to get that done. Leaf season is obviously here, and team is operating on schedule for leaf pickup. As a reminder, leaves should be piled at the back edge of the road or curb in front of the homes for collection and not out in the road. Our team is also working to complete the Bluebell Stormwater project and has completed projects in Beechwood Cove, Gladiola Way, Rosemary, and repaired a leak in the emergency spillway structure on the golf course pond at number 4 of the Cove. It has been a busy year for them. They've had 1,857 stormwater locate tickets just since September 17th. And the team has also replaced 36 street signs for us. So they've definitely been hopping. Now for police, Camp Cadet Golf Tournament was a tremendous success. Heartfelt thank you to everyone who participated, sponsored, and supported that event. We had our biggest crowd ever for National Night Out. Would like to thank everyone who came out to join us, as well as the local businesses who generously supported the event, and to our partners at the fire department for being part of that great evening. Just a reminder about their third quarter public safety meeting with the police department and fire department. That's going to be on October 23rd at the police department, beginning at 6 p.m., where they'll review their quarterly safety stats in the city. Monthly crime stats, 436 calls for service, 48 incident reports, 2,747 property checks, 458 traffic stops, 5 parking citations, 14 vehicle collisions, 26 custodial arrests, 6 DUI arrests, an average response time of 3 minutes and 23 seconds, which is outstanding, all while in addition to hosting those 3 community events. And council, if it's okay, I'd like to invite, well, if I get the clicker to work, Chief Crosby's got a brief presentation. Janet, you're going to have to do the screens for us here. Just to talk about a topic that has been really big in the community lately with the e-bikes and the scooters and things like that. So, Chief Crosby.
Mayor, members of council, thank you for letting me come speak to you this evening. You know, if you've been on social media or if you've been out engaging with community members, You're probably hearing a lot of conversation about bikes, e-bikes, scooters, and things like that. There's a lot of misinformation that's out there, but there's also some information that I want to present to you tonight, and also I'm here to beg for the parents' helps with this issue. First, I want to tell you what's allowed by state law, what's not allowed, and hope to do some education, and then present to you some additional information. In the state of South Carolina, a bicycle is traditionally what we think about. It has two wheels, it has pedals, is human operated or human powered, and it is allowed to be on a sidewalk, and is also allowed to be on the roadway. If the bicycle is on the roadway, the motorists have to abide by and recognize that bike like it's a car and make sure that they're giving them sufficient road to travel on. And then the bicyclist also has to give hand signals and things such as that. The bicycle also has to have a red light or reflector on the front and the back of a distance of 500 feet, and they must be on during the nighttime hours. The next thing that we hear a lot about, Ms. Janet, if you go to the next slide, is e-bikes. E-bikes, again, by state law 56-1-10, they must have pedals that they can be powered by human, but it also can have a motor. That motor can only exceed or up to 750 watts of power. It cannot exceed 750 watts of power, and it has to go less than 20 miles per hour on a level ground with a rider that weighs 170 pounds or less. E-bikes, if they have pedals and it has a motor less than 750 watts and it travels less than 20 miles an hour, by state law, can operate on our sidewalks. And by ordinance, they can be on our trails. Now, the one that we get a lot of questions about and we get phone calls about is people say scooters. So we need to identify what scooters are and what I'm calling mini motorcycles or pocket motorcycles. The electric scooters are what you see here. They have the board with two wheels that are tandem to each other, and then they have a steering device. By state law, 56.5.33.10, this device cannot have a motor that exceeds 750 watts, which means 1 horsepower. It has to go at a speed of less than 20 miles per hour on level ground. And by state law, it is permitted to be on the sidewalk. So an operator can be on the sidewalk, and they do not have to have a license or anything. So if you see one of our young community members on the sidewalk riding a scooter, they can be there, and they don't have to have a license, and they do not have to have helmets or anything. Now, once we get beyond that in the state of South Carolina, for something to be on the roadway, it has to be classified either as a moped, a motorcycle, or a vehicle. A moped in the state of South Carolina may have pedals or it may not have any. It can be powered by gas, electricity, or a hybrid system. The motor may not exceed 50 cc's in gas or 750 to 1,500 watts of electric. Has a maximum speed of 35 miles per hour. You must be 15 years of age or older to operate this vehicle. You must have a license. You must have working lights at all times. You must have at least one rear view mirror. A helmet is required for those under 21 years of age, and it must be registered, insured, and licensed as well, okay? Now, that's very important because we do not have a lot of problems with mopeds right now. So now I want to go back and let's talk about vehicles on sidewalks. 56.5.38.35 says a state law prohibits driving vehicles on a sidewalk unless crossing via a permanent or authorized temporary driveway. If you go to 56-1-10, that is what gives you the definition of a vehicle. A vehicle, in summary, means it must be propelled by human power, okay? I'm sorry. A vehicle is everything but it's not compelled by human power. So that's why I told you earlier, if it's a bicycle, you can pedal that. It can be on the sidewalk. If it is a scooter, it can be on the sidewalk because state law has another provision that allows that. If it is an e-bike, it has pedals. It can be propelled by human power, and as long as it is within those specs that we gave you, it can be on the sidewalk by state law. Now, I have a question for you. This is a pop quiz, okay? The first picture that you see here, is that a scooter, bicycle, motorcycle? What is it? And can it be on the roadway? Well, if you read the bottom of the slide, no, it cannot. That is considered, that is what we call a mini bike or a pocket bike, okay? Now, you may say, Chief, well, why can't that be on the roadway? One, it could exceed the engine limit, okay? So it could go too fast. Number two, it doesn't have a headlight. It doesn't have a tail light. It doesn't have a turn signal. It doesn't have a rear view mirror. So it cannot be on the roadway. Now, the center one that you're seeing there is what we're seeing a lot of our youth here in TGK operate. These cannot be on the roadway unless they are classified as an e-bike. They cannot be on the sidewalk unless they're classified as an e-bike. That particular device that is right there, it would be classified as an e-bike if it had the ability to have pedals that the human could propel that bike in addition to the motor. If that bike is as it sits right now in that picture with no pedals, again, it cannot be on the sidewalk, it cannot be on the trails, it cannot be on the roadways. It is made to be driven and operated on private property. Now, just this weekend, I had someone that was operating what you see in the very last picture on the roadways. That individual got stopped, left that traffic stop with 4 tickets because, again, it is not licensed to be on the roadway. Next slide, Ms. Janet. So again, electric bikes with pedals less than 20 miles per hour and they fit that engine category. They can be on the sidewalk, they can be on the trail, and they can be on the roadway. Okay? Electric scooters, they can be on the sidewalk, they can be on the trails. We prefer them not to be on the roadway. The state law does allow it, but we prefer them to utilize the trail or the sidewalk. If it is a mini bike or a pocket bike, one of those things that I just showed you up there in the picture, it is not allowed on the sidewalk, it is not allowed on the trail, and it must meet moped or motorcycle laws for it to be on the roadway. And then finally, a golf cart. A golf cart cannot be on the sidewalk. By the ordinance that you passed, it can be on the trail, and it can be on the roadway, meeting the state law specifications that the state law has designed for us. Okay? So I come to you tonight because I give you this information, and I also want to tell you what we as the department have done. We have sent out information about this topic through our SROs directly through the schools to the parents. We've had our SROs educate the kids at the schools. They've been outside as the kids are leaving the schools and educate them at the bike racks and the scooter racks. We've had them as they're leaving the schools and leaving the parks to stop the kids, educate them, talk with them, engage with them. This summer we gave out popsicles as a way to engage with them in a positive manner. We did the positive reinforcement by doing the Do the Right Thing cards and identifying those that were doing the right things. And now we're to the enforcement part of this, to where we're having to issue young adults and young teenagers and kids in our community citations because of their driving behavior on these devices. And this is where I come stand before you tonight and in front of this camera, and I ask the parents, please have a conversation with your child about the safety measures of these devices, because if you have not stood over a child that has been injured, I promise you it is the last thing that you want to see and you want to experience. I have done this in my career, and I don't want to do it again. These young people are out. They think they're invincible, and thus they're going to get hurt. And I'm begging the parents, please have a conversation with them to make sure they understand the rules of the road, what they can and can't do, and how to be safe. We're going as far as if the parents, when we do enforcement action, we stop it, we're logging everybody that we're stopping. While we're on the side of the road, we're calling the parent and educating the parent. The next step for me in this, as I've instructed the officers, those that have been given education and know the difference, state law says I can cite a parent for allowing someone to drive an unauthorized vehicle knowingly. I will use that statute if I have to save the kids in our neighborhood. I've also asked the city attorney to explore a law out of Florida. He's going to do so for us and get back with us if that is feasible or not. That could be done here to where the parents can be held accountable if this. That's not my goal, and that's not what I wish to do. My goal is to educate and get compliance. I am offering, as I've always have on any topic, if someone has a question, they're not sure if it's legal or not, y'all, we have an app, we have the website, our phone numbers are on there, our email address is on there. All you gotta do is call me. I'll come to your house myself as the chief of police and come look at it for you and tell you if it's legal or not legal. Especially with Christmas coming up, before you go buy that piece of equipment or that device, call us first, ask us the questions, let us help you. At our community safety meeting on the 23rd, our public safety meeting on the 23rd, I'm going to give the same information out. I encourage parents, if they have questions or they have concerns, please come see me. I love that our kids are out. I love that they're out playing outside, and I love seeing that they're not inside cooped up on the video games and stuff like that. I just want them to be safe. And sometimes I don't think our parents realize when these devices are going 40 plus miles an hour and they don't have a helmet on, it's not going to take but one motor vehicle accident, and we're going to have a very tragic situation that could have been prevented. And that's what I'm trying to do here tonight. Any questions from you?
Thank you, Chief.
Excellent information.
And
Thank
just
you.
again, reminder, the 23rd at our third quarter public safety meeting, if a parent has a question or they're not sure about whether it's a device, it's a scooter, a motorcycle, pocket motorcycle, or whatever, I'll be discussing this again. Or please call us. I'll be glad to come to your house and look at it, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
That's some good information. So, yeah. Please take it to heart, folks. That will bring us to our committee commission reports. If you would, please, Mayor Pro Tem Mills.
Okay, I am reporting on the Economic Development Commission. It met on September 25th, had a quorum. They reviewed the last quarterly Business Connect meeting. Leanne Lordo, the CFO of the Fort Mill School System, was the guest speaker, and she provided a wealth of information on how our school system assigns the tax base and how all that comes together for them and how it's applied. Discussion of then there was a discussion of commission initiatives and action plans to improve local big business awareness of the Economic Development Commission and networking opportunities. And some of those action plans that were discussed were buy local program, virtual coupon book, and monthly business highlight videos for our local businesses. The next Business Connect, the next Business Connect is scheduled for February 25th of 2026. We're going into 2026 now. City staff updated the committee that they wanted to have our events manager speak at that Business Connect meeting, so that will be really interesting to see how the city would like to get involved with our businesses, I guess promoting those businesses. There were no public comments, and the meeting was adjourned.
Thank you, Mrs. Mayor Pro Tem. That would bring us to Stormwater and Environmental Committee. If you would, please, Mrs. Jones.
Good evening. Stormwater Committee met on Monday, October 13th, and after approving our previous minutes, we jumped right into the Adopt a Drain program that I introduced last month, really sitting down and starting to dig into planning what that would look like to implement. Key discussions were about sort of looking at the city and discussing with some of the departments where we think this would be most useful in terms of having the biggest benefit for managing drains that are prone to clogging, and where our residents would probably be the most interested in seeing this sort of project for the rollout. A lot of logistical discussions of markers, costs, things like that. So we broke that down into tasks that the members are working on researching in terms of possible grant money. Thank you, Councilmember Hyslip, for also having some suggestions for that you're looking into through COG and some other possible sources where we could fund this idea, because obviously this is not something that comes without a price tag. And then we also sort of set ourselves a goal of having this hashed out by the end of the month so that we could sort of bring something to the city to present as a proposal and to council, with a goal of possibly having community partners and a rollout sometimes in 2026. So that is an ongoing discussion. And we also looked at our calendar for 2026. We'll probably continue on the same schedule and no public comments. So it was a pretty quick, efficient meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. That would bring it to me for RFATS. So the last RFATS meeting, very productive. We spent a great deal of time discussing accident areas throughout York County, Clover, Lake Wiley, in the MPO area. And surprisingly, TKK is on the map with some pretty high numbers for accidents. So I would say, folks, let's pay attention to our driving skills and slow down a little bit. You know, you can enjoy the colors of the trees this time of year. Just slow down. But yeah, there's hot spots all over the place. So we're working forward to amend some traffic plans, amend some traffic patterns to curtail some of the accidents that we're having. Also worked on the long-range plan a little bit more. We had a discussion for pedestrian walking public and getting more access to those folks throughout the area with sidewalks, walking trails, things that we can open up with federal dollars, with CMAQ funds, with pennies, so that our pedestrian public will be safer in traveling. And we discussed, they brought us up to speed on all of the projects that we've got going on. So if you've been across the bridge in Lake Wiley, you know that we are just steadily at giving the 4-lane highway all the way through 49, all the way to Clover. That project is on schedule. They are laying the bridge deck and should have that paved out in the next couple of months. They are working on the paving and the grading coming off of the bridge and running up the side. So right now they've got gas piping and sewer lines, water lines, and every other line you can put in there running on the shoulders. And so they are full speed ahead on that. 160 at I-77, they are on schedule on that job site, and if not a little bit ahead of schedule. So they're doing a really good job out there swinging girders and paving for us. Just a reminder, slow down in the work zone there. Getting on I-77, you have got a long lane if you're going southbound to get on I-77. So just take your time and observe the movements of the traffic lanes, because they are going to shift those. So it's not going to be the same road you're used to traveling when they start to shift those, and that's coming up. So just be mindful of that. And they went through several other projects, Sail River Road project and a few other projects that we've got that are almost wrapping up. Highway 51 at Carowinds Boulevard, they are still working on the right-of-way acquisition. That's supposed to be done within the next couple months. And they have divided that project up, which we found to be maybe a little bit more beneficial. They've divided it up as far as the roadway and the utilities. So with the utilities take up a lot of your time in a project when you've got to move your gas lines and you've got to move your phone lines and your water lines, and it's a really big headache for the GCs that do that portion of the project. So they broke that out into a different project altogether and made it to where it's a lot easier in coordinating those folks. And to bring in the roadway after that, it makes it an awful lot easier, because you're just bringing in roadway crews. You're not bringing in the guys that are specialty contractors that are moving the gas lines, moving the water lines and all. So that's something that is going to be explored and might even be put forward as far as a project layout going forward for SCDOT projects. So it's a very interesting process there. Other than that, meeting went well, and there was a request for a RRFB right in front of the Whitley Mills. So they're requesting some RFBs. I did speak to Mr. Feemster, and he's moving ahead with the RFBs for TKK. It cannot get here fast enough. So, but we are ready to rock and roll as soon as those plans come in and we get the nod from SCDOT. We'll be moving forward with that. So, but meeting adjourned, everything was great. So we'll move on to the next, which will bring us to our public comments. And the Lone Ranger of the evening, Mr. Leroy Ditton, if you would please, sir.
Leroy Denton, 28001 Marina Drive. Mr. Mayor, Council, I've come to talk about the second annual TKK Christmas Boat Parade. If you recall, last year, we decided to have a boat parade because the Lake Wiley Boat Parade doesn't think TKK is significant enough to come down here so we can see it. So we decided to solve that by having our own. I am thrilled to report to you that we had 9 boats. The other boat parade had 6. It was cold. It was unbelievably cold. But I will not concentrate on that. I will thank you. I thank the city, and as everybody does, our chiefs. We were led by the police boat and the fire boat. They were phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. What was thrilling for all of us as we went down the lake, the people on the shore in the houses came out of their houses. Did I mention it was cold? And the clapping and the applauding and shouting was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And as a result of all of that, we end up at Commodore Marina because it has a clubhouse that we can use. We had Santa. I won't mention it was a Santa that had always been at the other boat show. We had 80 pictures with Santa that night. So we were incredibly pleased and happy with the turnout and the results that we got. As a result of that, we have decided to have the second annual Christmas Boat Parade. It will be on Saturday, December the 13th. The boats will meet at 6 p.m. at TKK Marina. The parade starts at 6:30. It will go down toward the dam as we did last time, turn, and we will end up at Commodore for the clubhouse again. We will have refreshments and pictures with Santa between 6 and 9. There will be a $150 prize for the best decorated boat. And if you want to sign up, just send Danielle at dentonmarinagroup.com an email and do that, or stop by the marina. And we would be thrilled to have you. And we're looking forward to this one being bigger and better than the one before. Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank you,
doing
Mr.
that,
Denton.
Leroy. Thank you. So first year outdid the old ones.
There you go.
All right. Way to go, TKK.
Well, now everybody knows what it feels like when everybody's hollering and screaming at you on the shore. I always love that with July 4th. And I appreciate everybody that comes out and does that July 4th. So the gauntlet has been thrown. If you participated in the July 4th boat parade, please participate in the Christmas parade. All right. You guys will have to give me a little break tonight. I'm doing this circa Flintstone era via paper because there's a possessed computer underneath my table here. Okay, so we need to approve some minutes. So I will need a motion to approve our September 15th, 2025 regular meeting.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, motion to approve the September 15th, 2025 regular city council meeting.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have further discussion? No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. I will also need a motion to
Okay,
approve
you're good.
our September 24th, 2025 special meeting.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the September 24th, 2025 special meeting minutes.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
No.
No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. I will need a motion for our October 2nd, 2025 special meeting.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the October 2nd council meeting.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. And I will need a motion to approve our October 13th, 2025 special meeting.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the special city council meeting minutes for September 24th, 2025.
No, October 13th.
Oh, October 13th, 2025, special council meeting minutes.
Have a
Thank
motion
you.
and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. That's a lot of meeting, folks, just saying. When you got 4 meetings, that's a lot of meeting. You guys earned your paycheck last 2 months.
Right?
All right. So this is some new business. This is an introduction and first reading of an ordinance to adopt the latest standardized business license class schedule in accordance with the State Standardization Act. Act number 176 of 2020, known as the South Carolina Business License Tax Standardization Act, requires that by December 31st of every odd year, each municipality levying a business tax must adopt by ordinance the latest standardized business license class schedule as recommended by the Municipal Association of South Carolina. This ordinance is to comply with those requirements. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, motion to approve the introduction and first reading of the ordinance to adopt the latest standardized business license class schedule in accordance with the State Standardization Act.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do we have any further discussion?
Can you just give an overview of for the public, what this does?
Yeah, so every business has what's referred to as a NAICS code. And every 2 years that gets updated, and it's based on the profitability or the perceived profitability of that type of business. So some years you'll see a business, let's say general contractors may go up to a lower number, or they may go down to a higher number. And those, whichever class schedule the NAICS code puts them in, there's a corresponding rate schedule for those classes. And when the state of South Carolina standardized how business licenses are collected and implemented throughout the state, they pushed out a model ordinance which we adopted. And part of that is we've got to update the new class schedule every 2 years.
And this is not a TK class schedule, this is a
Correct.
state.
That is correct.
Do we have any further discussion? Okay, I will call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Next item of business is a consideration of approving an encroachment agreement for 1126 Molokai Drive. The owner of 1126 Molokai Drive is requesting to encroach upon the greenbelt. Their request is to make various improvements to include constructing a deck that extends approximately 5 feet into the greenbelt and also a fence in the area as depicted in the agreement. If approved, the owner would be permitted to encroach upon the area. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor and members of council, I'd like to make a motion for the consideration of approving an encroachment agreement for 1126 Molokai Drive.
Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion?
Yep.
This
No
is
more
pretty
discussion.
standard, right,
We're good.
Charlie?
Yeah, the prior council, while this council hasn't had many of these come forward, prior council, it has happened. Sometimes it's encroaching on city greenway. Other times it's been onto city green belt, as is the case with this. Utilities has already looked at it. There's no impact to our utilities and things like that. We're not giving them the piece of property. Basically, you're letting them encroach upon it for exactly what the agreement says they can do, and that's the fence and the deck. And the city can have those removed at any point in time that we need to have those removed. But based on staff's recommendation, we don't see why it would cause us any issues whatsoever.
Good. Thank you.
No, the only time I can remember on council is the Lubman property, when we had to do an encroachment for Troy Lubman. It was like the very first, when we first got on the council.
Right there at the corner
The sign.
of Gardendale and New Gray Rock, we owned a piece of property that he asked for an encroachment to landscape and
Yep,
whatnot.
the
Is
fence
that
right
the one
there.
in Lake Ridge? Right by the walking trail?
No, sir.
There's another one there.
Right there where
Inside the park.
Mr. Ludeman built those 3 homes.
Right.
That are right outside the city.
Yep. So it happens, but not too often. So I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay, we got a little bit more new business. This would be a consideration to appoint a new member of our planning commission. Following a vacancy on the planning commission, the city began accepting applications for a member of the public to serve as a commissioner. This person will serve for the remainder of the vacant seat, which will expire March 31st, 2026. Do I have a motion?
Well, Mr. Mayor and Council, your top nominee is going to be George Waitman out of the applicant field that was supplied to y'all by Casey. So George Waitman is your top nominee.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the nominee as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. And that will bring us to council comments. And as always, if you would, please
Don't
kick
jinx
us
it,
off.
Brian.
Councilman Carter.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for the residents that are in attendance this evening, and thank you for everybody that's watching online. Appreciate that you guys do that. Thank you to the city staff and all the department heads that keep our city looking and running amazing. A special thank you to TGK PD and TGK Fire Department for all the things that you guys do. This is going to trickle into the Catawbafest, what Caroline talked about a while ago, but having the safety and having TGK PD and TGK FD there, along with all the city staff to make sure everything ran smoothly, was great. It was a phenomenal show, a phenomenal day, to use Leroy's word. And we were doing Queens Nation that evening, and it was just really fun to sit there and watch, while as the sun went down, all the kids were out there dancing around, and the sun went down with that beautiful sunset. Then the adults went off and took over that dancing area and the front part of the stage. It was really cool, cool night. Catawbafest was just great. Want to say thank you for all the city staff. They're putting up the lights along TK Drive. I absolutely love seeing that every single year. Want to talk to the city and make sure that we focus on the newer sections of the TKK and trying to get something going down Stonecrest, or having some signage or some decorations on the newer section of the TKK as well. We have pumpkin carving that's coming up and all the Halloween activities. I know we already have a day that's already set up to go off and carve our pumpkins to submit them into the pumpkin festival or the pumpkin contest. So we're really excited about that. Make sure you do that. We have a lot of stuff going on in the community right now. In a couple of weeks, there's going to be an election here, for the mayor and for the candidates. I'd like to say, just to make sure that you go out and talk to the candidates. There's a lot of candidates that are like knocking on doors. They're really getting out in the community. They have a lot of really good stuff to say, and they're really passionate about what they're doing and why they're doing it. But really get out there and talk to them, and don't try and listen through hearsay through other people. But they have a lot of meet and greets, so check that stuff out and really talk to them. We have a few up here on the council now that are running, and then some in the audience as well. So really check that stuff out. One of the last things I want to talk about, recognize somebody in the community, somebody that does something positive in the community. So this person I'd like to recognize this evening lives in the community and takes care of like the little things in our community. And when I say little things, I mean mainly like little animals that they need help and then need rehabilitation. This person's created a group called the TK Wildlife Rehabbers, along with a few others, to help the welfare of the wildlife that's in our community, from like squirrels to rabbits to deer to all kinds of stuff in the community. And it's a full-time job when you're taking care of stuff like that. The person that I'm talking about is Casey Boyer. And I want to say thank you, Casey, for your passion and the stuff that you do for the little animals in our community. So.
Thank you, Councilman Carter. Councilman Hyslip.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a big thank you to Caroline Hasty and all the staff, the volunteers, the sponsors, the vendors for Catawbafest. It was a great time, great event. I'm glad we were able to reschedule that and keep it on that Parks and Rec event theme. Spooktacular week coming up. I want to just give a thank you to Howell Landscaping for sponsoring the movie night in the park. Very gracious of them. And I know I saw a few other council members and members of the audience here the other night at Mr. Howell's stew tasting. So get ready. The Brunswick stew is going on for sale. It's for the Lions Club this year. It was very good. I would think you would agree, wouldn't you? So be on the lookout for that, and you can pre-buy the stew and then freeze it if you need to. Brian mentioned the election. Early voting started today, so TKK, get out there and vote. You got 2 weeks early voting, and then the election on November 4th. And finally, we won't have a meeting before Veterans Day, so November 11th is Veterans Day, and we have our TKK Veterans Association always puts on a wonderful Veterans Day memorial celebration. And so hope to see you all there on November 11th, and that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Hyslip. And by that stuff is throw a stick at your mama good. I mean, whoo, it's good stuff. Get you a gallon of that. Do yourself a favor. Get you a gallon.
Stick to your
Councilman
ribs.
Shirley, if you would, please, sir.
Thank you. Carolyn Hasty's not here, but big thank you to her and staff and all the volunteers that pulled off Catawbafest after the cancellation from weather. It was really great to see such a good turnout of vendors and folks enjoying themselves there. A very good time for everyone. Chief Crosby, thank you so much for what you do to try and educate our community on what's going on, what's the best way for our community to stay safe. The activity that you and your team have had with educating some of our youth and their families about what's going on with these scooters, what's allowed, what's not allowed, what's safe, and what's the safest way to go about that has been very helpful. And I know we've had some communication about that over the course of the last few weeks when we've had a few incidents, and you guys have handled that remarkably and professionally, so thank you for that. I know our community thanks you as well. Sometimes what your team does, those types of things sometimes aren't the most visible because they're private, but I want the community to know that your police force is working very hard to educate our community, not only keep us safe, but keep us well educated around that. So thank you for you and your team. Folks, the safety meeting that's coming up on the 23rd, I've attended several of these. I intend to attend this one coming up this week. It's very, very informative to find out what's going on in our community and around us, to see what our first responders are doing to make this a great place for us to live and continue to be the safest city in the state. So please attend that. And Leroy, I want a special thanks to you. You do a lot for this community and others around us, and really appreciate you putting that parade together. Hats off to you for beating the contender in the first year out. So let's see it bigger and better this year. It's very possible that we might have Ruger the red-nosed rain dog on my boat this year, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. He would love to do that, and he'd probably soak the whole boat doing it. Yes, election's coming up. Make sure that you get out and vote. We typically have pretty good turnout here in TKK compared to other municipal elections that are on an off year. Let's see that trend continue as we go forward. And a special thanks to those that participate in the city's committees. These committees are completely volunteer. I've sat in on almost every one of the committees that we have. I was the council liaison on 2 different ones. And man, it just surprises me. It shouldn't, but it surprises me how the folks on those committees bring their very, very best and participate with a passion that you can only imagine. Folks that love our city so much that sit on those boards and bring information to council so we can continue to run our city. So thank you to all that do that. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Shirley. Mrs. Mayor Pro Tem, if you would, please.
Thank you. I was not lucky enough to try that stew. I had something else that was a conflict. I'm really kind of sad, so I guess I'll just have to wait until I can buy it. That's what I hear. Obviously, huge thanks to Caroline, our staff, our vendors, our volunteers for making Catawbafest such a success, and for the pivoting that happened to make it all work out. October is like a whirlwind around here. I think it's even busier than 4th of July just because there's so many different amazing things. Pumpkin Palooza, I cannot wait to see all of those carved pumpkins and all that displayed out there. Movies in the park. I know that if I had little ones, and I'm almost there, but not quite with the grandbaby, but please go out and enjoy that. It takes it for anyone to sponsor an event like that. It takes a lot of planning and a lot of commitment, so please go and enjoy it with them. Love seeing the Christmas lights. The Windward Median, I had to stop the other day as I was driving when they were putting down the grass and there were sprinkler heads going, and it's going to be amazing. It's just absolutely beautiful. Thank you for all of our staff that's involved in putting that together, and the vision that you had in designing that. I was able to attend National Night Out and saw a lot of hot dogs and chicken patties being cooked, and saw a lot of community engagement, saw a lot of kids playing. It truly was a National Night Out event, and Chiefs, you guys should be very proud of how you managed that, and the feeling that you had for that for the community and the kids that were there and the parents that were there. It was really special. I also do want to commend you for the bike and scooter conversation. I know your first love is the education, and it's tough to have to think about enforcing it when these are kids that we're talking about. So I know that it's a difficult transition to have to make to that, but I think we all understand that we have to do that in order for our kids to stay safe. And I appreciate that you are so in front of that conversation. Please go to the quarterly safety meeting on the 23rd, because if you didn't hear it all today, it's important that as a parent, bring your kids and have them hear it for themselves. Have them listen to all the what ifs. And happy Diwali. I know that we have a community that truly celebrates that. I've seen it in some of the outdoor decorations. I think it's a beautiful celebration, and just wanted to acknowledge that and wish you that as well. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. And that would come to me. As always, like to thank our staff. In the last couple of weeks, it just is amazing, all of the activities that we've got, everything that we're doing in this community, not only for the kids, but for our people. It allows our folks to get out and meet each other and realize, oh, yeah, we're neighbors. It's a great way to meet folks. So I really appreciate that. Dustin, thanks for the great job you guys did and are doing still with our youth sports. Get nothing but high praise for that. You guys always knock it out of the park. Thank you for doing that. Both of the chiefs, thank you for all of the activities you're putting on, everything that you're doing. The walk bike to school, it's, that's a great event for the kids, great event for the parents. Just make sure that you're not riding those dirt bikes to school. We don't need that. But yeah, thank you very much for what you do. And Chief Hasty, I know he's not here, but thank you for that. And Caroline Hasty, what can you say about her? She knocks it out of the park every time, and especially when she's got our guys to back her up. So I appreciate you guys doing that. To all of our folks in TEK, thanks for being you. We have a great community here. Everybody, we're all great neighbors. Let's continue to be that. The world will beat us up, and they try each and every way that they can to get under our skin and bring out the worst in everybody. Folks, when you pull into TEK, let it go. Just let that weight jump right off your shoulders. Say hello to your neighbors. Say hello to somebody you don't know. Help folks. The best way to get rid of all this negativity and all of this stuff, especially going into election season, is to help somebody. So United Way, they've got a lot of toys to sort. I know that I've spoken with a couple of those folks, and they could use all the help they can get this time of year. The Humane Society is a great place to volunteer time. shoot, right here in TKK. I'm sure we'll put you to work. Don't you worry. You just let us know what you're good at. We can find something for you. But just, when you roll into your neighborhood, when you roll into this city, be nice. You live in the safest city. You live in a gorgeous city, thanks to our staff and our people. We don't need to bring all that outside stuff here. Just let it go. We're the lakeside community of Lake Wiley, and we just need to love each other. That's it. We're going into Halloween. All these kids are your kids. Your young'uns just aren't your young'uns. Everybody else's young'uns are yours too. If you guys see something, say something. If a child needs a hand, don't be unwilling to offer a hand to them, because they might be, screaming out for help. They missed their mom, or they're lost or whatever. So help them out. I would encourage you to be outside so that you can see something, say something, hear something, say something. And just make sure that we have a very safe Halloween season for our kids. I would say if you got 5 pounds of candy, go get 10, because we always run out. But Halloween's a great time for the kids, a great time for the community, great time to meet folks and be involved in the community. And with the boat parade coming, thank you, Mr. Denton, for that. Make sure if you have a boat that put some Christmas lights on it and maybe a Santa Claus on top of it, and let's go have a good time. It's always a good experience there. And to my council, thank you for all the hard work that we put in. I know that the decisions that we have made have been tough. I know that you have done your research, your homework, and we met a lot in the last 2 months, and I appreciate your diligence, and I appreciate your steadfastness in our council, in our city. So I appreciate that. Mr. City Manager, thank you for doing all you've done. There's a lot of legwork, a lot of extra long nights and everything, so I appreciate you, and our city attorney as well. Thank you, Mr. Spencer. I appreciate you. With that, I would say thank you for everybody in the gallery who came out tonight to be with us. I appreciate seeing you, and I would call for a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, motion to enter into executive session for discussion of contractual matters related to American Tower.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are in executive session. Happy Halloween, folks.